So I always say to people, that gives you an idea if we can go like 2 minutes of doing that nonstop, no breaks, what it'll do for your body and your brain. I've lived in Vallejo all my life. I was born into an Air Force family in Marin County, born at Hamilton Air Force Base Hospital. But I was like 2 months old when they came and bought a home in South Vallejo on Grant Street. And that's where I grew up for part of my childhood. And the other part of my childhood, I lived on Star Avenue right in front of Franklin Junior High. And if I forgot a book, I could run across the street and get it. And the teachers all knew where I lived, and I would come back. People always expect me to say I'm from another part of the world. And when I tell them Vallejo, California, where's that? And I tell them it's in the San Francisco Bay. And if I'm standing on a stage, I say, well, look at my hands, look at my fingers. My thumbs are San Francisco. And the top of the circle here, my fingertips, is Vallejo. So you can take the ferry back and forth. It takes an hour. It's very relaxing and it's beautiful. Biggest influence on my life growing up was my great aunt Ada Faye Wyman. And Ada Faye lived in, well, my mother's side of the family lived in Saratoga, from Saratoga to Monterey. And she was the great aunt who taught and graduated from Stanford. And she went to work for the United Nations back in its infancy in the 50s and 60s. And she was one of the leaders for reaching out to children around the world. And she was also very active in the nuclear bomb and disarmament of that and not having it in the world. She died fairly young of a massive heart attack in her early 60s in New York City. But in the time that she was in my life, every time she took a trip and came back, she would always bring me a little box. And in it would be treasures from wherever she traveled to. Ethiopia, little leather money pouch, Italy, whatever country she was in, she would bring me back a gift. Being an only child, I was forthright. And I spoke my mind. And it often got me into hot water. And I can piggyback off of that to say today, I'm here before you as the 2016 California Hero of Hope for the American Cancer Society. And I had to come to the conclusion as a late-stage cancer survivor, why am I still here? What purpose is it that I am still on the planet? And other people around me with the same diagnosis are no longer here. They've passed on. And I came to the conclusion that I'm here to love as many people as I choose and irritate the rest. And apparently I'm quite good at both. So I've learned to be more diplomatic. I learned that from her also. And I've learned it in my years of the professions that I've been in and raising 2 daughters on my own. So how to approach somebody and ask for something that you really need without putting that person on the defensive. So I've learned through mistakes, through hard work, 2 words that would fit me are resilience and persistence. I don't give up. I saw no liabilities being a woman because I spoke my mind and I stood up. And I found over and over when I stood up, it just kind of unnerved everybody. And in business, there was a moment in time in my life, a very brief moment. I became partners with two other gentlemen over in Contra Costa County in Walnut Creek. And we had an office, on Treat Avenue. And I went with my partner, and we would take over clients that had gone through bankruptcy courts, and they had been put basically in my custody to manage their finances so that they wouldn't go down the rabbit hole again of spending all that money that they believed they were entitled to. And these people were attorneys and dentists and orthodontists and chiropractors in those fields. And that was really interesting, but they had to listen to me. I see the recent surge of women in politics as also being representatives for their gender to have the power, to have the strength, to have the determination to believe in their abilities and stand up and speak it so that the other gender isn't rolling over them and discounting them and not taking their word and value. Looking on are my daughters or my granddaughters, and they see what TT can do. And TT talks everywhere, and TT invites this person to speak. And if you want something done, well, TT will know the number in that person to talk to. And that's what I want all the young girls coming up, is to believe in their worth and to believe and know without questioning this is their value, that they have this intelligence, they have this ability to bring forth change. Wanting all of you looking at me and hearing my story, single parent, raised two successful women, cancer survivor, speaking to hope and believing that you can put one foot forward and survive and influence other people to believe in who they are. Believe that you have power. Believe that there are other women there to support you. Find a mentor. Talk to that female teacher, that female counselor, the female neighbor, your grandmother. All of those women have wisdom. They have lived. They have experienced much, and they will share it with you. And you will stand up, and you will be strong, and you'll move forward. Believe in yourself. It sounds like the cliche, but it's so true. Believe in yourself. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah.